Got to get it down here where I can see you. So this is probably the last one on my series of spiritual resilience. And today I want to talk about being present, and I thought that Mary Alice's reading was particularly appropriate. So I used 3 different books. I especially wanted this to be important, but it actually didn't turn out to be important. Just the title is important. What You Think of Me Is None of My Business by Terry Cole Whitaker. It is very good, especially in her, there's practices and affirmations at the end of each chapter. And the next one, this was the best one. This was more mystical than Terry Cole Whitaker, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And the most mystical is The Mandala of Being by Richard Moss. And he's a very important teacher that we have opportunity to hear nowadays. So first I want to express gratitude for this community because it's been so important to me to give and helping me learn strength and resilience for my life. I was away in New York State for a week, taking apart my parents' house. And the reason it had to be taken apart in this way was that it needed a new roof 20 years ago. And my brother, who was living there, never told me or my sister that it was falling down. And when we were there, there were at least 5 very large leaks in the roof. It's a very large old house, old farmhouse. It's over 150 years old. And it still has beautiful wood flooring if anybody needs some wood flooring. It's available. But when I was there, it was just a mess. It was very dirty, and it had not been cleaned. Obviously, it had not been cleaned in many, many years. And I did not overreact, and it's partly because of what I've been learning here in this community. And so I just can't tell you how grateful I am that each one of you is here. Each one of you is present for me. And I want you to know I know that. So my older sister lives in California, my younger sister lives in Boston, and my brother lives nearby the old house, and I live here, and I drove so that I could bring back some things. But as it turned out, I brought back a lot of photographs, a few books that I could count on 2 hands, and a few pieces a few dishes. So as we explore being present, as we are present for the deep exploration that we do in our lives, as we are present for each opportunity to experience and transcend any difficulties that we experience, I believe if we are present that we automatically do not overreact if we are present. And it's the being present that's the tough part. The idea is very simple. The actual being is a choice that is very difficult, because in the ego self that we have created, we have created many blocks to being present to everything, Yesterday or the day before, I was very nervous. And I said, I can handle this. I can handle this. And I did. That part of it, I was able to get a feeling of control, at least. Get a feeling of control. So I actually have 8 different ideas about presence and about self-control, I guess, and about opportunities for change. And so as we heard in our meditation, intentional deep breathing, that's where we start. That's number 1. Intentional deep breathing, because with any situation, we can choose to take a few moments to breathe deeply. Most of the time we are spending in the past or in the future. And when we intentionally take a deep breath, or 2 or 3, we are in the present, and everything changes. We become awake to all the things that are going on, in our life. So the second thing we have to do is remember that we are spirit. Remember that we are not this life. We are angels experiencing this life, but we are not this life. And watching your thoughts and making no judgments about them. Just watching. Just be aware. Be aware, and then remember again to be aware. And witness yourself in time and space. So the part of you that is your witness, is your spirit self. It's not who you are as a human being. It's not the human being part of yourself. Your witness is the part of you that you access when you're breathing, when you're being aware. You're watching. Watch. Think about that. Think about watching more and reacting less. So the one of us who is witnessing is not the one of us who is thinking and acting. So Eckhart Tolle talks about giving ourselves space when something difficult is happening. Make it bigger. Give it distance. Give it distance from yourself. Watch it. Step back from it and watch it from a distance. Watch what you're doing. Watch how you're being. And breathe. So in the Tao Te Ching, if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. So I've managed to expand my body by overeating. Now I'm waiting for it to shrink. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. But let me tell you what I mean by if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. You can do this with pain in your body. And being a body worker, I have to do this. If there's a pain in my back when I'm working, I don't stop working to attend to my back. I attend to my back as I'm working by allowing that pain to get bigger. I did it once. My shoulder was really hurting. And this was a long time ago. And I didn't know this technique at all. But I intuitively just said, I'm going to breathe into that pain and see what happened. And it disappeared. It disappeared. It changed completely. And we can do that with physical pain. We can do that with emotional pain as well, giving it space. So another idea is letting go of everything. Letting go of who we think we are in the moment allows us to become the spirit self that we really are deep down. So I have a story about this vase here. I brought this with me from my mother's attic, from the house, the attic. So there was a vase in a cupboard, and I looked at it and wanted it. And my sister said, "Oh, I'd like that." And she really wanted it, and I really wanted it. And I said, well, she's depressed and had a box of medications this big. And I kind of looked and thought and looked, and I didn't want to give it up. Believe me, I didn't want to give it up. But I said, okay, yeah, it's okay, you can have it. So it turned out the next day I was cleaning out a cupboard, taking the dishes out of a cupboard, and I found this vase, which was much bigger, much prettier. And I thought, it does work. It does work. To allow something better to come into your experience, we simply must let go. We simply must let go of the old. We have let go. We are good at letting go. We are actually very good at letting go. But there comes sometimes that make it sticky. And one of the things I do is I help people make the choices of keeping things, giving things away. I'm actually very good at getting very good at this. Helping people move, helping people pack, helping people choose whether they want to keep something or get rid of it or donate it or trash it. So I was getting a lot of practice that week in New York State. And it's really, and now take that to my own possessions, and I'm not so good. You might be surprised. I'm definitely not as good, but I am getting better, and I feel the importance of it. I feel the importance of it because I feel that letting go of something does, in truth, make room for something else. But another thing we need to do, or I need to do, is let go of thinking that something needs to be different for us to be happy. Take a deep breath. Nothing needs to be different for us to be happy. Nothing. But it's a choice that we're making every day. It's a choice. I found a passage in the Mandala of Being by Richard Moss, and it's about relationships. Because the relationships are, in fact, our greatest opportunities for change, for transformation, for evolution. So the quote goes like this: when you are with another person, if you will stop listening to what you are thinking and begin listening to what you are feeling, the quality of your communication with that person will skyrocket, as will the quality of the relationship itself. And that's an important practice for me. Thank you, Larry, for making my life an opportunity for its growth and transformation. Relationships are not meant to be perfect and peaceful. We choose them because they are fun and because they are the fastest way we have of growing. So I have a friend who is also married, and she told me about an experience of hers. Her husband was yelling at her, and she was very uncomfortable, but she had been doing yoga for many years. And so she just stood there in mountain pose and became present, became mindful, became aware. And what happened to him was he became confused and walked away. So I highly recommend it. So another aspect of resilience is accepting what is true around us and stop trying and hoping that it should be different. And it doesn't mean that we put up with inequality and racism. It means we actively become the change that we wish to see in the world. That's a quote from Gandhi: "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." A quote from Eckhart Tolle: "Accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Work with it, not against it. Make it your friend, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life." And there are many times when I've had to say, well, ego self, this is not the time or the place to assert yourself, but to be more watchful, to be more aware, to be more mindful. And it does work. It does work. The truth is, we're here to be with each other, to help each other, to watch each other, and to recognize that we are one, we are true friends with each other. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what we think is true, it may not be true. Take the opportunity to look at the bigger picture, to look at your place, to look at what you're trying to accomplish, to let it go, to be, just to be. And now it's open mic time.